This is KGW News at noon.
We start at noon with an update on the teens who escaped from a juvenile detention center in Washington. The 4 who remained on the loose are now in custody after they were spotted near an elementary school in Vancouver. Thank you for joining us. I'm Brenda Braxton. The Clark County Sheriff's Office just gave us details on what led up to their arrests last night. A family member of one of the teens came back from shopping yesterday and saw all 4 kids in their house on Northeast 58th Avenue. The relative told them to leave and called 911. The teens were spotted just a few blocks away at Walnut Grove Elementary School. A SWAT team surrounded the area and the 4 were taken into custody. Now, this all started on Sunday when neighbors, or investigators, I should say, told us that 7 teens assaulted a staff member at the Echo Glen Juvenile Detention Center near Seattle and stole her car. 3 of the teens were arrested later that day, and the car, it turned up in Vancouver. Well, there's an effort going on right now to clean up an eyesore in downtown Portland. A crew is removing graffiti on the historic Jackson Tower building. You've probably seen all the spray paint if you've been down to Pioneer Courthouse Square. It's the building with the big clock on the south side of Portland's living room. From our Pioneer Square Skycam, you can see the cleanup crew just working away. KGW's Joe Ranieri is talking with them, and he will show you how it looks when all the work is done. You can watch for that this afternoon on the news at 4 o'clock. We'll take a look at this fire in Camas. Incredibly, all of the people who live here made it out safely before the building burned down. Ireland Greens is a home for seniors on Northeast Ireland Road. The fire started around 4 o'clock this morning. Firefighters say they had trouble getting enough water to put it out. It's unclear at this point how the fire started. The Red Cross is helping the seniors find somewhere else to stay. When it comes to wildfires across the state of Oregon, there are 8 burning right now. They aren't huge or close to homes, but this is a reminder the danger is here. This is video from the 7K fire. It's 10 miles southwest of the town of Veneta. The latest update came around 7:30 last night and showed the fire is 100% contained. But firefighters are still putting out the hot spots. Authorities say strong winds, lack of access to water, and steep hills and thick brush made their job difficult.
We've had to truck in a lot of water to actually be able to do some good work. That is becoming one of our priorities now, is to continue and just completely build out our hose lay system that we have around the fire so that we can access water at every point.
Because of the threat of falling rocks and trees, mop-up work on the fire will only happen during the daytime. There's a state of emergency in Halifax, Nova Scotia, as an early season wildfire burns out of control. Smoke is filling the sky over the city with flames along the side of the road, making driving dangerous. More than 16,000 people have been forced from their homes. Earlier this month, the western province of Alberta declared a similar state of emergency after wildfires forced thousands to evacuate. Okay, let's head back to the Weather Center this afternoon and check in with Rod. Some folks, you told me, are starting to see that cloud cover burn off.
Yeah, so we're coming to me after that fire story. So of course, a marine layer coming in is good news. It lifts the humidity factor overall, typically holds temperatures down. All good news if you're starting to battle some blazes around our state. I want to show you this just because it's a great shot. This is Timberline zoomed in at Mount Jefferson. These are the marine clouds at pass level up over the Cascades drifting through. Starting to see some clearing or thin spots along the beach at noon. That's Cannon Beach Live. 56 degrees. Here's Stoller Family Vineyards Estate. The valley overall still pretty cloudy. You get out in the gorge though, you have sunshine. That's Cathedral Ridge Winery and Hood River. West winds, by the way, for you folks this afternoon, gusting up to 30 miles per hour at times. Here's downtown. We have not seen any sun yet. We are at 61 degrees. Our planner trying to get up to 70. I think we gradually will see increasing sunshine this afternoon, but it might be just that, a gradual process. So coming up, a surprisingly dry 7-day. We're going to talk more about dry weather that's starting to become a theme, and not a good one. That's ahead of my complete forecast.
All right, thank you, Rod. We have an update to that incredible rescue in Cowlitz County as firefighters pulled a man from his truck 5 days after he'd driven into a ravine. KGW's Catherine Cook talked to the friend who found him alive.
I just knew I needed to do something.
It had been 5 days since Rhonda Wimmer's friend, 56-year-old Dan Stansberry, had vanished. The two don't live far from each other here in Longview. It's a tight-knit community. Rhonda cuts Stansberry's hair and often sees him driving here on Sunset Way.
I just kind of connected some dots.
And so on May 21st, Rhonda changed up her morning walk. She never hikes along Sunset, but on that Sunday, she did.
And I thought to myself, you know, if I could just take a look and see anything suspicious, possibly some tire tracks leaving the road. And sure enough, 10 minutes into my walk, I saw some faint tracks and looked over the ravine, and I could see the back or the bed of his dark green truck, and I knew I found him.
Rhonda called 911 and her husband.
And then we started hollering for him, Danny, it's Rhonda and Bob, help's coming.
Cowlitz 2 Fire and Rescue and Longview Fire responded. They set up a rope system and carried Stansberry up the 150-foot ravine. A life flight helicopter flew him to Southwest Washington Medical Center.
First responders say Stansberry was severely injured and ill after being in the car for 5 days. He was barely conscious, but alive. And they say because this area is so shady, it kept temperatures in the car cool, which likely delayed dehydration.
Stansberry is still in the hospital, and Rhonda says his road to recovery will be long and hard.
Just keep praying for Dan, and the outcome's going to be good, I hope.
Now, thanks to Rhonda, he has a fighting chance.
So just do something you normally wouldn't do and go the extra mile, because it might pay off.
In Longview, Catherine Cook, KGW News.
Another person is also recovering after they got stuck at the bottom of a ravine for about 5 days. Molalla Fire says the car went down in the Copper Creek area of the Molalla River corridor. The driver wasn't able to climb out, but as a last resort, officials say they set their car on fire, hoping to attract attention. Well, it worked. Fire crews and Clackamas County Sheriff's deputies started searching the area. After about 3 hours, they heard a yell for help, and then they found the driver. In Iowa, there are plans to start demolishing a building that's already partially collapsed. But some people are pleading with officials to hold off because more people may be trapped inside. Maggie Vespa reports from the city of Davenport.
A lot of confusion and frustration here in downtown Davenport with plans to demolish what's left of this 6-story historic apartment building essentially on hold, at least according to the city. Officials just telling us they are going to start staging equipment for a demolition, but basically saying the timeline for when they'll physically start tearing this building down is now under evaluation. This with a lot of people, including a growing protest just down the street, saying that they're afraid that survivors could still be trapped inside. Particularly, they say there are 2 people, residents of that building, 2 men, who they say are still unaccounted for. And those fears escalated after last night, 52-year-old Lisa Brooks, one of the missing, suddenly came to her 4th-story window and started waving to the crowd below, prompting a rescue by first responders. Her nephew telling us he was absolutely stunned, but also, again, prompting those protests with people telling the city they should search again and basically have to wait to demolish. So again, city officials now reviewing that timeline. At the same time, as far as the building's owner is concerned, we have reached out to the apparent owner several times. We have yet to hear back. The city confirming they're aware people had been filing complaints about the condition of this building for years, saying the owner had recently taken out permits and begun the repair work when this collapse happened. Maggie Vespa, NBC News, Davenport, Iowa.
Now to Salem, where Senate Republicans have entered their 5th week of walkouts. That means bills that already passed the House are stacking up in the Senate. Evan Watson has more on the legislation that's going nowhere right now.
First up, Oregon senators need to approve bills to address Oregon's drug and fentanyl crisis. One would fix issues with the rollout of Measure 110 and support treatment and recovery programs throughout the state. Others would expand access to Narcan, an opioid overdose reversal drug that can be used to save people's lives. Next, Oregon has a shortage of public defenders. Sometimes cases are dismissed because there's no lawyer available to represent a defendant. Other times, defendants unnecessarily wait in jail for months before getting a chance at a hearing. Senate Bill 337 addresses this system. And a bill from the House would change how crime victims are treated and compensated. It passed with unanimous bipartisan support. And Oregon lawmakers need to figure out how to fund the I-5 bridge replacement. If Oregon doesn't work out its $1 billion contribution, that could put federal funding at risk. And as a top priority, lawmakers need to pass major budgets for schools, housing, government, and other areas. The group of Republican senators is also protesting the passage of other bills, ones that would provide abortion access for all ages and gender-affirming care, regulate guns, and enumerate marriage for all. Republicans have said that they'll return on the last day of the session to pass bipartisan budgets and bills, but Democrats have said they won't let that happen, saying Republicans in the minority don't get to pick and choose what goes through. So as it stands, the sides are still at a stalemate.